General Hospital spoilers reveal that Willow Kane will have total control over Drew Kane, so she'll bring her husband home for more misery. Willow was off-screen during all the Blizzard drama, so many fans have missed watching all her scheming. Now that Willow has undergone such a manipulative character transformation, it's fun to see what she's going to do next. During the week of February 2nd to 6th, Willow will get Drew settled in with all his medical equipment at home. Drew won't be able to speak or move, so he'll be totally at Willow's mercy. That's something Willow may take great pleasure in rubbing in Drew's face. Willow may assure Drew that she's going to make sure he gets the treatment he deserves, just like she told Nina Reeves at the hospital. Drew will presumably remember that Willow jabbed him with that syringe and launched this stroke nightmare. Now Drew's trapped in his own body because of Willow, so that'll leave him silently fuming. Since Willow is capable of causing this stroke crisis, Drew may suspect she's the shooter after all. Willow may ultimately confirm that news and taunt Drew since she got away with it in court. Gay 8 spoilers say Drew will face a shocker in the February 5th episode. That could be something other than Willow's shooter confession, which honestly shouldn't be that shocking to Drew at this point. Instead, Willow might stun Drew by suggesting he'd better hope he doesn't fully recover. Perhaps Willow will promise to silence Drew permanently if he ever makes it out of that bed or regains his speech enough to run his mouth. Willow may hope neither of them has to worry about any of that since Drew's doctors don't think a full recovery is possible. Regardless, Willow may take some time to gloat to Drew now that he's a captive audience. Since Willow feels like Drew ruined her life, she may make it clear that she's all about getting her revenge. General Hospital spoilers say Drew has plenty more misery in his future thanks to Willow, so stay tuned for updates on all the escalating drama. General Hospital spoilers reveal that we have to ask, did Peter August just slip up? Is Peter the man behind the Nathan West charade that's underway? Ever since Nathan returned and claimed he had no memory of the last 7 years, fans have been suspicious. Nathan's DNA and fingerprints are a match, but there have been plenty of weird clues to suggest he's not who he claims to be. The most recent hint came in GH's January 29th episode, which is when Nathan surprised Lulu Spencer by admitting he'd memorized the entire periodic table. That obviously didn't seem like a very Nathan-like thing for him to know. Nathan said his dad drilled it into him when he was younger, which puzzled Lulu since she thought his father never paid much attention to him. That led to Nathan explaining that his father pushed him towards science before losing interest in him when he couldn't go beyond memorization. That conversation was strange and felt like a revelation of something deeper. Peter felt abandoned by Caesar Faison since he rejected little Heinrich and sent him off to boarding school. What if Peter is somehow alive and living in Nathan's body, at least in the form of his memories? Later, Nathan admitted to Lulu that he wanted nothing more than to be the man she saw him as. The wording was odd and felt like a clear indicator that he wants to be Nathan, even though he isn't really. That brings us to Jack Brennan's hint from back in December. Brennan told Lulu that she needed to remember who Nathan's father was and that he may like to go by the name West, but his real last name would always be Faison. Everything Brennan said would certainly fit for Heinrich, aka Peter. Wes Ramsey recently returned to the role in Anna Devane's Vision, but Peter may be alive in a completely different form. Nathan may have Peter's memories based on all the clues, so stay tuned for updates on the shocking news that could lead to. General Hospital spoilers say this: Nathan's charade will bring more twists and turns, so stay tuned. General Hospital spoilers for the week of February 2nd to 6th, 2026 tease discoveries, targets, and stunning awakenings. Britt has been a handful for everyone around her lately, mainly because of the way Sidwell, Cullum, and Marco keep attempting to uproot her life. She finally told Jason everything he needs to hear to save her, but will it be too late once she makes an upsetting discovery on Monday? This discovery leads to a desperate Britt and possibly a torn Jason on Tuesday. By the end of the week, Britt is the one pushing back, and hopefully this time it's at her bosses rather than the man who's only trying to help her. Now that ADA Turner was faced with a losing case in court, she'll do anything to win, including trying Michael for Drew's shooting. After Michael is interrogated on Tuesday, Jason and Sunny will be left strategizing their next move while Diane makes her concerns about her clients heard. Michael will be left confiding in his parents and Brooke Lynn throughout the week, all while Chase has another anger-driven moment. Willow will start the week playing dirty before her beloved husband wakes up on Thursday, stunned by his new life. Midweek will find Nathan and Lulu both spilling their feelings to respective confidants, while Kai has some explaining to do to Trina. All this while Jacinda and Christina keep up their friendship and catch up on the latest in their lives, like Michael's new trouble and Christina's little push to Molly's manuscript. General Hospital spoilers and updates reveal Britt Westbourne is finally opening up to Jason Morgan after he rescued her on the waters off Spoon Island. She told him that she's being blackmailed to finish her father's final project over withholding her Huntington's disease medications. Will she tell him Jens Sidwell killed Professor Henry Dalton? GH viewers will recall that Sidwell murdered Dalton right in front of Britt, after a discussion with her and Pascal about Dalton's sloppiness following the lab break-in. Dalton, sloppy drunk, told more than he should have and revealed there was a lab location outside of PCU, which led to Emma Scorpio Drake and others to break in. It didn't matter that nothing of importance was revealed, as he also made a public spectacle of himself at a public meeting where Laura Collins gave her acceptance speech. Therefore, Sidwell and Pascal named Britt as Dalton's successor, and Sidwell shot him dead right in front of Britt! Later, Sidwell went on to frame Laura and Sonny Corinthos by putting Dalton's body in Laura's trunk, with Jason doing the cleanup later. Sidwell killing Dalton is information that Jason needs to know, along with who's running the show on Caesar Faison's final project and blackmailing Britt. It looks like dirty WSB director Ross Cullum is over Sidwell and Pascal, but is there anyone over him? It's doubtful unless there's a not-so-dead Cassadine hanging around somewhere, or a not-so-dead Peter August. But the initial C that Britt was so afraid of seeing on her Huntington's dose package when she first came certainly seems to fit with Cullum being the one who's in charge. It's likely that Britt will tell the whole truth to Jason, considering that in Friday, January 30 Who's episode, she tells him the men in charge are all very lethal. She may or may not know about Anna Devane being held in a cell in the basement, but she does know Jocelyn Jacks was there. However, she came to see her uncle Lucas Jones, and so that should have been a sufficient cover, since Cullum didn't see her then. What Britt will likely reveal is the new lab being part of Windermere and possibly beyond in the catacombs, which could be where Anna is as well. Jason has to know the whole truth, who the men in charge are, and what's at stake, and especially who, in order to help Britt out of her dangerous situation. General Hospital spoilers reveal Harrison Chase was blinded by his devotion to his ex-wife, Willow Tate Kane. For whatever reason, he just had to believe that she was innocent and didn't shoot Drew Kane, and he convinced himself the only reason it looked like she might have was because Michael Corinthos is just that good at framing her. Rumors are swirling that Chase is the leading male character on the chopping block at GH Next. If that's the case, then we have to consider all the ways that he might be written off the show, and I think it's quite plausible that he could become Willow's next victim. Sure, he's broken a few rules here and there, and he recently got suspended for doing what he insists was the right thing. Chase has a heart of gold, and his goal has always been about supporting the people he loves, lifting them up when they're down, and never straying from the right side of the law. Right now, he thinks Willow won. He thinks he was right about her and everyone else was wrong, and it may be a bitter pill to swallow finding out he was a fool. It could also be the last mistake he makes. There is a pattern of behavior emerging with Chase. His conviction to prove Willow was innocent was built on years of trust and believing he knew her and that she wasn't capable of doing such an awful thing. But recall that Chase doesn't have the most fabulous judge of character. After all, he was dating Willow's twin sister, the late Nell Benson Jerome, once upon a time. Naive and infatuated, he fell for every trick in her book too. Still, when Nell was wrong, he pushed her to come clean. Likewise, when his brother, Hamilton Finn, screwed up, he nudged him to take responsibility. Chase is principled. He's not likely to give Willow a pass if he learns he was wrong about her innocence, even if the court agreed with him. He wasn't just bent on making sure everyone knew Willow was innocent. He was bent on upholding the law as his moral duty. So if his moral compass is pointed due north, he may be in for a shock soon if he learns that Willow was never innocent at all. If he got duped, he may confront her about it, and that could lead to a real battle of wills. Chase believes in doing the right thing, remember? He supported Willow because he believed she was innocent, not because he wanted her to go free even if she wasn't. Faced with the truth, it's likely he'll encourage her to turn herself in, albeit with his help. I just can't see that going over well with Willow. In fact, I wouldn't put it past her to try to put the kibosh on Chase the same way she did Drew. What do you think? Sound off in the comments, and stay tuned for more GH news and spoilers up ahead. General Hospital spoilers hint that Willow Kane may target Jacinda Bracken with tragic results. Will Willow decide she wants this mom replacement away from Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos? Willow has really gone off the rails when it comes to her behavior, so there's no reason to think she'll stop now. In fact, Willow might get even worse since she keeps getting away with her crimes. GH fans know Willow shot Drew Kane twice, but she was acquitted and granted her freedom in Port Charles. Willow took full advantage of that freedom when she caught Drew by surprise with that syringe and caused his stroke. Since Willow was careful and has been putting on a show, she looks like a distraught wife who's concerned about her ailing husband. In reality, Willow's the person who got revenge by leaving Drew incapacitated. Now that Drew's out of the way, who will Willow target next? One option could be Jacinda, since she's growing closer to Michael Corinthos and will inevitably start playing a bigger part in the kids' lives. Wiley enjoys spending time with Jacinda and seems to think of her as a friend. Michael beams every time Wiley and Jacinda interact, so he's loving how well they get along. Willow might have been counting on Michael and Jacinda's relationship to end after the alibi disaster. However, Michael isn't ready to let Jacinda go, and she's certainly not complaining about that. Jacinda has formed a real connection with Michael that she didn't see coming. It's clear that Jacinda's bond with Michael is quite special to her, so this could lead to alarming news. The closer Jacinda gets to Michael, the closer she'll get to Wiley and Amelia. Willow may find herself hearing wedding bells and worrying that Jacinda could become Michael's new bride if this keeps up. Although Willow no longer seems to have any kind of romantic feelings for Michael, that doesn't mean she wants to be replaced. If Michael marries someone else, that woman will become Amelia and Wiley's stepmom. You can bet that Willow doesn't want Jacinda to take on that role. After being apart from her children for so long, Willow surely wants to be the only mother figure in Wiley and Amelia's lives. Jacinda may become a problem that Willow needs to get out of the way, so will she target her with tragic results? Will Willow actually try to wipe Jacinda off the map? General Hospital spoilers say Willow has some other surprising moves ahead, so stay tuned for updates on all the mayhem. Be sure to make us your favorite GH hotspot for all the fantastic General Hospital spoilers, updates, and news you're looking for. The General Hospital spoilers for Monday, February 2nd, 2026, focus on Willow playing dirty. Meanwhile, Alexis is dismayed and Lucas is thrown. From the looks of the weekly spoilers, it appears Dark Willow is sticking around. She has already shot Drew twice in the back and did her best to frame Michael for her trouble. She tricked the jury into thinking she really was that sweet, victimized nurse she portrayed, and they handed her a not guilty verdict. Shortly after, she injected Drew with a syringe, and whatever was in that thing gave him a massive stroke. With Drew out of the way, expect Willow to continue to play dirty. She probably thinks she still has to deal with Michael and make sure he goes down for the crime that she committed but brilliantly escaped conviction. Now that she's no longer in danger of going to prison, one of her goals is to get her kids back. And Michael is simply an obstacle that she must eliminate. Does she deal with him on Monday? Or does her focus turn to someone or something else? Maybe she needs to tie up loose ends. Britt is in an impossible situation, but she finally let Jason in on the hell that her life has been. The two really talked and connected, and they are in a better place. While they work together to get her out from under the thumbs of Sidwell and Cullum, They have to pretend they are still on the outs. On Monday, look for Britt to make another upsetting discovery. What does she find, and will she be able to turn to Jason for help dealing with this latest find? Meanwhile, Emma is worried about her grandmother. She has no idea where Anna is, and it has been too long since she has heard from her, but the teasers suggest that she is about to get an important call. Maybe it's Nathan with an update on the search for Anna. Obviously, we'd love it if Anna is somehow able to contact her granddaughter herself, or someone who has information about Anna is able to reach out. Best case scenario, if Anna can't save herself, then maybe Britt or Joss or someone finds her and gets the word out. The teasers suggest that Lucas is thrown. This may mean he stumbles upon something surprising and not in a good way. Right now, he is blissfully unaware that his boyfriend is knee-deep in his father's criminal empire. He's making threats, he's blackmailing, and he's going above his father's head to order him to permanently dispose of Sonny Corinthos, something his dad isn't ready for. Thank you very much. Yet Lucas is living at Windermere drinking wine and martinis with Ava and Joss and missing all the red flags that are flying around. So what throws him on Monday? Does he actually get a peek at this darker side of Marco? One can only hope, because Lucas needs to get out of Windermere sooner rather than later. Finally, Alexis should be happy. She has carte blanche to see Scout again. Sure, she still feels she has to keep Scout away from her brother, even though Drew is indisposed. But being able to care for her granddaughter again is a beautiful thing. Then why is Alexis dismayed? It could have something to do with the fact that Willow is walking around a free woman. After all, Alexis knows the truth. She is well aware of how Willow is actually the guilty party in Drew's shooting, and she can't do anything about it, especially since the cops will be turning their attention to Michael soon. Joss may be about to find out the hard way how dangerous Cullum really is, and it all starts with her major discovery at Windermere during the January 30th, 2026 episode of General Hospital. With Joss and Cullum snowed in at Windermere, neither knows what the other is truly up to. They just know it's no good. Cullum keeps insisting there's more to Joss than she lets on, while Joss plays dumb all while using her WSB skills to observe him. When Joss finally got a moment alone, she immediately began searching his jacket, where she found a pack of cigars and a copy of The Crystalline Conspiracy by P.K. Sinclair, aka Faison. Published way before her time, the only thing Joss noticed about the book was the woman on the cover and that it was signed by C. Cullum showed up on cue, catching her with the book in her hand, and she continued her ditzy college student act, saying the woman on the cover looked just like Port Charles's police commissioner Anna Devane. Of course, Cullum brushed it off as a coincidence, claiming to be a groundskeeper just hired by Sidwell after all. As Joss began reading the novel while Cullum kept an eye on her, you could cut the suspicion in the castle with a knife. Cullum isn't letting her out of his sight again, while Joss attempts to put the pieces together. A WSB head at Windermere, an Anna doppelganger, and C. And now that Britt told Jason everything about her work for Sidwell and Cullum, it may only be a matter of time until Jason and Joss team up for the ultimate takedown. On General Hospital, Nathan and Lulu ended up trapped in a cafe during the blizzard while trying to track down Charlotte, the kind of Port Charles detour that starts with good intentions and ends with bad decisions. Snowed in, slightly buzzed, and running on weeks of unspoken tension, they crossed a line neither of them had planned to approach out loud. That moment, and everything tangled up inside it, was what Alexa Havens later unpacked when she talked about where Lulu's head actually was and why the fallout was never going to be clean. Havens spoke with Soap Opera Digest about how early she realized where the story was heading once Ryan Peavy returned, and Lulu was written as the one to find Nathan after the accident. She admitted she saw the signal immediately, calling it an obvious tell once you know how soaps lay breadcrumbs, even when the characters themselves are still in denial. What complicated it for her wasn't the chemistry, but the ethics. Havens explained that Lulu's instincts pushed back hard against the idea of developing feelings for Maxie's husband, especially given their history and the fact that Maxie was still lying in a coma. She described playing that tension as a constant internal argument rather than a sudden lapse in judgment. The bond crept up on them over time, built out of shared grief and that disorienting stretch of missing years that no one else around them could really speak to. Heavens made it clear there was nothing calculated about it, which is why the kiss didn't play as a plot turn so much as a misstep neither of them had been steering toward. Heaven said she appreciated that Lulu's first reaction after the kiss wasn't swooning but recoil, quoting Lulu's immediate response as, "No, we cannot do this to Maxie." The guilt arrived fast, and Lulu sobered up emotionally long before the storm passed outside. From there, the story shifted into restraint rather than indulgence. Heavens talked about playing Lulu as someone determined to shut the door, even while knowing that determination doesn't erase feeling. She leaned into the awkwardness of seeing Nathan again afterward, letting the longing sit there without resolution. With Maxie's return looming, Heavens acknowledged the timing as pure soap design, laughing that it was essentially 3, 2, 1, kiss the husband and then here comes Maxie. It wasn't about villains or betrayals yet, just people making choices they'd have to answer for once the weather cleared and the real world came rushing back in.